Folks, welcome back to Nostalgianomics. Today, I have some pretty alarming data to share with you. I can pretty much predict the exact right time to buy singles and the exact time they are going to run up in value. And it has nothing to do with bull or bear market. It literally has to do with the rotation schedule on when these sets go out of print. I'm going to show you exact examples of what happened in some of the high-flying cards from Sword and Shield era based on when they were going out of print. And then I'm going to show you some of the Scarlet Violet era cards, especially in the first 6 sets that are set to go out of rotation, out of print early next year. And some of the price points they're selling for and just how undervalued they are and what to expect in the coming months. And so my Patreon members, you guys got a lot of this information last week when I released the monthly Patreon video. But I did want to also bring it to the main channel to show everyone exactly what I'm seeing as well. So let's go ahead and jump into this. First and foremost, here we are. We're starting out with Chilling Reign, which went out of rotation, out of print, April 5th, 2024, as did Evolving Skies, as did Fusion Strike, because they were all part of the E block. All right, so keep that in mind. April 5th, 2024. Let's take a look at the Blaziken. Here is April 2024. Just before that, okay, does this look similar to where we're at right now? In the months leading up to that, the Blaziken was at its near lowest price it ever was since release. And then look at that. When April came, had a massive run up, okay? The Galarian Moltres, look at this. Here were all the months leading up to the out of print date, right? Lowest price it ever was. Had a run up, not as crazy as the Blaziken, then it came down a little bit, had another run up. It was never as low as when it was in the months leading up to being out of print. The Umbreon VMAX, take a look at the same thing. Look, all the months leading up to out of print, it wasn't the lowest ever, but it was the lowest after this run, I would say. It reached its lowest dip in the months leading up to going out of print, and then once it went out of print, ran up to the 1400, stayed there, kept running. The Rayquaza VMAX, same thing. Look at this. Literally the lowest possible price it was since release in, look, November 2023. I mean, I know we're a few months away from November, but I mean, we're coming up on what could be the lowest price you may see on Scarlet Violet PSA 10s, especially in SV base through Paldean Fates. And then when it went out of print, boom, skyrocketed. Leafeon VMAX, same thing. Look, kept trending down all the way up until, that last, few months before, and then boom. Gengar VMAX Fusion Strike. Look at this big bump here. You know what that is? That's out of print. April 2024. That's when it went out of print. All these months leading up, you could have got it near the lowest prices, right? Espeon VMAX, same literal thing. It hit its lowest prices on the months leading up to the going out of print, and then boom, went out of print. And so, the data is very clear, guys. Okay, the data is very clear. The cards usually hit some of their lowest levels in the last few months of it being in print. Now, Scarlet Violet Base, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, Paradox Rift 151, Paldean Fates. They have about 8-9 months left in their print cycle before they go out of rotation. And so, right now, all the way up until April of next year is likely when you're going to see them hitting their lows, and they're usually probably the best times to jump in. Just throwing it out there. It's what the data shows. Not trying to tell you to do anything. I'm just literally showing you the data. Now, let's look at some of the cards right now and what they're going for. So I'm going to start out with some of the less valued cards because I know a lot of people will tell me, Alex, you're showing boxes and cards that are out of my budget. This is more than the common person or the casual hobbyist can afford. All right, perfect. We're going to start out with some of the lower valued ones. Meowscarada, one of the new starters from this era, and a pretty popular Pokemon actually when you look into it and what people prefer in the new era. This PSA 10 special illustration rare. It is a top rarity card of a starter. It is literally an $80 card. If you can find auctions are ending in the 60s and 70s. For a special illustration rare top hit that has already been PSA graded, meaning no risk, no paying $20 for PSA to grade your card, paying shipping there and back, taking the risk of buying a raw card and possibly getting an 8 or a 9. You can buy a PSA 10 right now for about $80. Skeledirge, another starter, the Fire starter, same thing. About $80, $85 you can pick up a PSA 10 for right now on the market. You have Chi and Pao. Chi and Pao, another, I would say, one of the most popular starters next to Chi Yu. It's $80, $85. $85 for a Chi and Pao special illustration rare. And then we also have the Chi Yu. It's about $90 to $95, $100 for a Chi Yu special illustration rare. Guys, these are from the highest valued booster box in the entire era right now. Will Destined Rivals overtake it? Maybe. But as of right now, Paldea Evolved is the highest valued booster box in the entire era. So it's the most expensive. And in the most expensive set, you have special illustration rares selling for under $100 in a PSA 10 of popular starters, of popular legendaries. And we're leading up to the out of print cycle. Call me crazy, but looks to me like it could be time to start picking up some of these, especially if you believe the data that we saw from Sword and Shield, what happened in April when those sets went out of print. The Pidgeot from Obsidian Flames. Guys, it's the second best special illustration rare in the set next to the Charizard. It's a Pidgeot. It's a Gen 1 Pokemon. It's under $90. Under $90 for a booster box. It's what? In the low to mid 200s. Going for under $90. Special illustration rare Pidgeot. Moving into Paradox Rift. You have the Iron Valiant, which at one point was the second most valuable card in the entire set next to the Roaring Moon when this set was released. It wasn't Groudon. It wasn't Altaria. It was Roaring Moon and Iron Valiant. This card is now a $120 card. It goes for less at auction. $120 for once one of the best hits in the entire set in a PSA 10, a special illustration rare. 151, Erica's Invitation, the most iconic set of the era. A special illustration rare hit is going for $80. Not just that, the Giovanni's $100. $100 less at auction for an iconic artwork, Giovanni with his Persian in 151, $100. Do you not think these cards are going to rise when 151 goes out of print next year? You have the Iono from Paldean Fates. I know a lot of people don't, forget about this card because it's outshined by the Mew, the Charizard, the Gardevoir. But Iono, one of the most popular trainers that they push in the era. It's the second most, it's the most expensive special illustration rare in Paldea Evolved. And it's $85, $90. $85, $90 for an Iono. Could be time to start picking it up. Now, if you want to look at some of the top hits, what they're going for, well, you've got the Gardevoir. Gardevoir in SV base. Still about a $150 card. $150 card for the most popular hit in Scarlet Violet base. And we're only months away from it going out of print. The Roaring Moon, once the highest value card. Now I think it's maybe the second or third behind maybe the Groudon Altaria. $170. $170 for a Roaring Moon. Altaria, right? Under $200 for the Altaria still. We move into 151. Now look, I get this is a really expensive card. May not be for everybody, right? It is a $750 card, right? This card was selling for over $1,000 in a matter of months ago. As we know from Sword and Shield, these big hits typically hit their lowest points in the months leading up to going out of print. I would say we're in the months leading up to going out of print. Now, maybe it dips a little more, but odds are April, May of next year, it's likely going to be a lot higher if history repeats itself. Blastoise, same exact way. It's under $300 in the high 200s, and Venusaur is in the mid 200s. And so, last one I have here is the Paldean Fates Charizard. The Bubble Mew is already astronomical. It's at its all-time highs. But this Paldean Fates Charizard is still hanging out in the mid 400s. It could be a great pickup. And so, guys, look. While I'm not pushing any specific card, I'm just trying to get people to look at the data and say, look, if something happened literally almost every single time with all the big hits in Sword and Shield as they led up to their out-of-print dates, they started to hit near their all-time lows in the 6 to 9 month period before, and then that month or month after leading up to that going out-of-print date, they all skyrocketed at the same exact time at different levels. Don't you think you could at least admit it's a high probability bet that the similar thing is going to happen? I would be willing to bet that buying into these cards come April, May of next year, you have a better chance of being up on the value than down on value. Now, I get there could be a million things that happens, economic struggles, Pokemon goes into a bear market, big massive reprints happen in the next 6-9 months, whatever. But just judging from what we see in the past data, and judging from the fact that, they probably aren't going to reprint enough of all of these sets to really do enough damage, I'm going to go ahead and place my bets that when we revisit all these cards in May of next year, we're likely going to see higher price points on all of them. And so do what you want with the data, guys. Hope it helped, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Be back in a new one soon. We're out.